From Ticker Studios, this is the Founder's Method, presented by Memo Bottle.
Same thing. In a world where AI can copy just about everything and anything, is brand the last real IP that a business has left? I'm John O'Burt.
And I'm Jesse Leeworthy.
And this is the Founder's Method. This is the show where we get into the real story behind how founders build, break, and rebuild businesses.
He built a business with one obsession: own the IP, own the brand, own the customer. Their foam mount became a global brand selling in over 100 countries, is endorsed by sporting ambassadors such as Oscar Piastri and Chris Froome. Last year, the business sold for $500 million. Today's guest is the co-founder of Quadlock, Rob Ward. Welcome, mate.
Hey boys, how we doing?
Good to have you here, man.
How are you going?
Yeah, let's have it a bit more official than our normal catch-ups. This is nice.
This is fun, isn't it? We're going to get well and truly into the Quadlock story, but before Quadlock, 2011, you launched a product on Kickstarter. I actually heard it was the first Kickstarter campaign opener.
The first Aussie product Kickstarter.
That's amazing. It was soon after launch, it was ripped by Heineken and Budweiser.
Yep. Yeah.
What did you learn from this?
Oh, we learned that often in business, it's the things that you're not thinking about that come after you. So that's one thing we learned. I think the other thing was that no matter what position your business is at, sometimes what you think is your main sort of competitive advantage is not that. It's sometimes not the widget, it's sometimes the brand. And at that time, the brand wasn't big enough, but similarly, Opener was never going to be what Quadlock was, and it was actually a great learning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to like intellectual property versus brand building, like what do you think is actually more important these days?
I think you need both, but what you need to do is use IP, or formal IP, to buy you time to build a brand, and then eventually the brand will be the ultimate moat. Because unlike a lot of people think, oh, you've got a patent, you're sweet. It's just the starting point to start an argument from, really. It's still going to cost a lot. It's going to take a lot of focus. And it just sucks a lot of energy from the business, anything like that. So if you can have your trademarks and your brand really secure, it's just much more clean cut.
It's more of a deterrent than anything, isn't it? You really got to play on the front foot.
Well, I mean, the thing that happens is the bigger your brand gets, the better you're known, actually more copycats come.
Yeah.
But you can't go into something thinking you're going to make something of scale with a brand that people are going to know, consumers are going to care about, and there's not going to be competition. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. So then Quadlock launched in 2012.
Yeah.
How did you go about this differently from what you'd learned previously?
Well, we did think it could be a bigger, better business than Opener. So we had a bit more, we'll bootstraps, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
We had a bit more funding from what we were doing to pour into it. So we did that. Did we do everything? It's impossible for a startup to, dot every I, cross every T, but you just do what you can and just go. And so that's what we did. We did what we can. And I wouldn't want anyone watching going, we can't dot every I, we can't cross every T, we can't completely secure all our IP over the world and not do something. Because the fact is, it's very difficult to do that.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time. So do what you can and you move forward fast. And this is where speed and getting out in front of the market and building that brand comes back to even more of the moat.
Yeah, for sure. Like moving fast, connection with the customer,
all of that,
expanding the product range, right?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
You want when you're in what we did, we were in a new product category and we're building it effectively. And what you want is for anyone who makes anything in that space now, there's not a single article that would be written without comparing it to Quadlock.
Yeah.
You become the Xerox of this space.
Yeah.
If you can do that, then you've got this default authority in the space.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to everything else you can do to layer up from there.
That's cool. Not an easy thing to do, though.
It's not easy to do, and it takes a long time.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
It's a first to market thing, isn't it? There's not many brands in the world can say that they people think of their name as that product category.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to get, but if you can get that's a real moat.
Totally.
Yeah.
So you started with a bicycle foam mount,
Yeah.
and then you became an adventure brand. Was there a pivotal moment that really made that shift for you?
I mean, this happened over a long time. If you remember back, we were the iPhone bike mount effectively. And we used that terminology when we found we wanted to be more than that, but Quadlock didn't mean anything to anyone and we just needed to cut through. So it goes back to just doing what works. And so we just rode that also the iPhone bike mount for as long as we could.
Yeah.
And then built up other IP, built up other offerings to the market. And during that time, you would see like the pull from the market. Oh, they want that in motorcycle. They want that over here. There's an opportunity. And often, you know, at that time, there's more opportunity than you can actually service. And then it's about trying to prioritize the right opportunity and go after it. But we would always like the idea of sort of going deeper into a section of the market and then go broader. You don't just want to try to be everything at the start, because it's a really good way of, you know, meaning nothing to
Spreading yourself way too thin.
Yeah.
And how did you find out that? Was it customer surveys? Was it social media? Like, what was the lead into that information?
Oh, I mean, because like when we started, obviously it was like the start of, you know, Web 2.0.
Yeah.
So it was start of getting that feedback in real time from customers, seeing what they do. I mean, I remember just seeing a simple one, is seeing people put our bike mounts on motorcycles.
Yeah.
And then we thought, that's a great market. I like motorcycling. We'd lived those problems similarly, but it was a bit more, it needed more work. Cycling was the best place to start.
Yeah.
But we tested the market. We went to market with our bicycle product, sort of with different photos and titles.
Yeah.
And it sold straight away. And we thought, right, we got to do something in this space as well, almost straight away.
Yeah.
From the outside, it looks like ambassadors has been a big part of the growth, especially the last five years or so. Massive names, Oscar Piastri more recently, Chris Froome. How did you go about identifying these ambassadors and then securing them?
Yeah, I mean, that was a process that we were working with ambassadors from the start, but they were more influencers. And then we would level up. So probably the first for us was a big ambassador was Charlie Boorman, who did the long way around with Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Awesome motorcycle rider. Yeah. And he was, for us at that time, a big deal. And so that was our first, I think, foray into it. And instantly we got results. But Charlie comes from like, he's the granddaddy of one of our best customer cohorts, which is like adventure tour motorcycle riding. Like he made that popular. He's known all over the world for that. And it's a great one where to our customer, he's a big deal. To the average Joe on the street, they probably don't know who he is. They may not, but that's a great place for someone like how we started, because it was a lot of money for us at the time. It's not Oscar Piastri money, but it was a big bet, and pretty quickly it paid off. And we thought, oh, we've got to do more of these.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid advice, like going after someone that's like such a big personality for that particular niche, not just someone that's going to please all, basically.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you're small and you're growing fast and you've got like an enthusiast customer base, they're good at finding like the coolest, newest things. They're at the pointy end of the market and you're transacting in that space the whole time, trying to get really broad quickly, where all of a sudden your brand name doesn't mean as much as it did in the pointy part of the market. It can get watered down. So you've really got to time those moves, and ambassadors and getting, borrowing their authenticity in the space can really help get you a little bit broader. But starting niche, going a bit broader, and then going maybe even a little bit more broader with your influencers, ambassadors, that kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. And we've heard you reference the 10-90 rule when it comes to like signing a deal. Like, what is that framework?
It's not, it doesn't have to be 10-90, but it's a framework to get you thinking that you speak with brands, you speak with people doing events or signing ambassadors or whatever they're doing, any kind of activation. And sometimes people think, oh, we've paid the money to the organization, to the ambassador, to whoever it is, we should get a result now. But we always would say, like, how are we going to make it pay? And the 10-90 is like that's just 10% of the effort to sign it. The 90 is on the execution, like working with them to get a result from what you've done. Because often the talent, the ambassador, the event, whoever it is, they're there to sell those spots, sell themselves. And they want to work with you, but sometimes you've got to bring the know-how of this is what would make it pay before our organization, our product, our service, whatever it is. And so you got to bring that. And the 1090 is just a good way of holding in your head that, okay, we've done the deal, the work starts now. Like, how are we going to make this cool? How are we going to make this pay?
Okay. Is that something you need to like almost think about in advance, so you structure it into the deal so that you know
absolutely
what the activations are going to be?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
You need to have those things in the deals up front, or just even if it's not completely all sorted, because sometimes you're signing these things a fair way out, but you need to know you're working with someone that wants to make it work as well. And you will definitely do deals that don't work. That's just part of the process.
Yeah.
You don't go back to those ones, and you just try and find more of what does work.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say that you're the founder of a $5 million brand. It's a long way back from the 200 million that Quadlock's currently doing and the big EBITDAs. But if you've got a limited budget, how would you start that process of ambassadors? There you go.
Yeah, no, seriously, I think it doesn't matter what scale you're at. It could be smaller than that, but you just got to look for what we would always do. My advice would always be like, look for like people you can afford. You don't want to stretch too far because it doesn't work. You don't want to, bet the farm.
Yeah.
But what you want to do is look for people, influencers, ambassadors, but someone that you can build long-term relationships with. So we never did things like pay for post or anything like that. It's like, we're going to sign this deal with this person. It doesn't matter if they're, 10 grand a year or hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. We want to sign a deal with this person, and we believe we can still be working with them 1 or 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Now, you don't get that right every time, but you're not hoping it's looking for one big spike. You're trying to build like,
That's made it a little bit.
get your brand associated with their brand, and then like you inherit a lot of their authenticity, and it raises your brand up with them. And so that just doing that for, a single post just for 1 month, it doesn't really hold up. But when you rock up consistently with the same kind of, you can call it ambassadors, but even the same influencers or the same micro ambassadors in spaces and niches, if you do that consistently over time, it does build that brand equity in the space. Yeah.
Amazing. You have built one of the biggest brands, one of the best brands Australia's seen in the last decade or so. So thank you so much for coming on today, Rob. It's been amazing.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Cheers, man.
Thanks, Matt.
You're watching Ticker. The Founder's Method is presented by Memo Bottle. For more, visit memobottle.com.